Harari has suggested that we need a new story for the 21st century. And so what I try to do here is put together a story of a possible different future. And I'm going to start it with where we are in the 20th century itself. And background for that is that, by the beginning of the 20th century, there were billions of humans occupying the planet itself. And they were able to multiply and diversify themselves using stories and myths. And so that was one of their secret powers, if you will, was to use stories and myths in order to grow. But this is not always they weren't always a positive experience, because what happens is that they got too fast to the top of the food chain, and they didn't develop the natural majesty of an alpha species. And this made them cruel and dangerous to the planet itself, to the other species that they kind of share the planet with, and even to their own species. And so that they just happened too quickly. So we now have a dangerous and cruel background to us, all right? But then linking that with our mass cooperation, you have the key to the success was the speed in which humans were able to cooperate in large groups. So now, we also have this capability to where, we've made the whole world one ecosystem, one connected ecosystem, which is really important. But again, this was also not always positive, because some of the tools and techniques that enable this cooperation will prove later to be a hindrance to the continued progress. And one of the couple of them are like a hierarchy, and the idea of the linking of income and work, the advantaging of our emotional system, the building of a bunch of religions, and the idea of a single male voice dominating everything. But the secret sauce, if you will, to this whole cultural development was three meta-myths that were found in almost every established culture: a polity system, a money system, and a belief system. And as the 20th century rolled around, they were occupied by democracy, capitalism, and liberal humanism. Those were the three meta-myths for us right now. And then the institutions that basically supported the meta-myths that are designed to deliver the needs of the humans as the family and the community was not able to as the population grew. So then what you had is you had the belief system delivering desirable behavior, and the example there is liberal humanism with its 5 pillars of education and community, social contract, and other stuff. Conflict management, which is what we expect a political system to deliver, which is, in our case right now, these are the 4 pillars of democracy. And then resource allocation is basically what we have the money system for. And that's what market capitalism does, is it does the resource allocation. So those are the 3 major issues that are dealt with by our meta-myths. However, one of the problems is that the institutions relied on good faith actors and over time proved to be vulnerable to the more cruel and dangerous humans. All right, so the hollow clowns, they were always acting from a position of self-interest and mostly from the shadows. And the institutions were crumbling because of the effect of what the hollow clowns were able to do in terms of being cruel and dangerous. And so the 21st century, though, on top of that, developed a 21st century developed a new agenda. Okay, so as it rolled around, that we ended up with a new agenda and new tools. So now we had an agenda that was looking to end death, to deliver happiness, and to upgrade humanity. We had tools, technology, information, and bioengineering tools that were combined, and we had robots that would do most of the physical labor that the humans used to do. And then we would have artificial intelligence that could do the cognitive behavior that was prominent within humans. So those tools were taking over and creating this kind of useless humans concept, right? And so unlike the earlier agenda, this new agenda did not require billions of humans to flourish. All right, so you didn't have the need for all of these laborers, because you had the capability to build things. The systems could build their own, the computers could build their own, and you had no need, and you could even have judges that were robots. And then soldiers were no longer needed because we had things like drones that could actually do the work that the soldiers used to do. So now we ended up with this kind of, powerless humans, right? So it was feared that this ensuing boredom, uselessness, and purposelessness would bring about violent revolution. But the masses really had no power. You had somebody with a slingshot trying to combat missiles. So they were powerless too. And then the question was, could they be satisfied? And the idea was that they would be bored, right? But so one suggestion was that the hollow clowns would manage the mass boredom using drugs, entertainment, and games. And we've seen some of that as prominent right now in what we're seeing in our current situation. And the good news in this whole thing is that the humans could be provided for. It was expected that the new tools would probably be able to provide for all the basic services that the masses needed to survive. So we'd be able to get security and education, food and housing, and all those things, health that we needed, and to really satisfy what I would call the bottom two layers of the Maslow hierarchy. But we would be missing the things that we need to flourish, the stuff at the top, self-actualization, right? And then what we'd end up with these museum humans. And it was feared that the gap between the elites and the masses could become unbridgeable, creating a species differentiation. So you had these humans with natural birth on one side, and you had these humans, these enhanced humans and babies that were designed babies on the other, and they were really different species. Now, what I want to do is tell a different story, because I think there's an alternate story, and it starts with changing the tools and techniques associated with cooperation. So the idea is that we move from male voice to a voice that includes both of our genders, then we can expand the cooperation. And on top of that, we actually would see the demise of justice and competition, some of the old value for a new set of values that included things like care and honesty, intellectual integrity, courage, and ambition. And so we'd have an improved set of values that would come. Along with that, then a hierarchy would be changed to relational, and so the way of looking at the world relationally is more closely mirrors reality. And the good news is that right now it's easy for us to enable that. Most of our systems can easily enable relational systems. Our religions, when we move from letting the advantaging religious explanations to advantaging scientific explanations, and then we also gain with that the idea of now we can advantage system two. We can advantage our rational and slow, but we can reduce irrational biases, and then we can unhook income and work. One of the things that Harari pointed out is that the history is the story of what ideas won at the time, not the story of the progress of the best ideas. So we can't assume that just because these ideas are around today that they're the best. And so what I'm seeing, though, is I'm actually seeing a move from pull to push, which is the move from a push economy that depended on ownership and capital to a pull economy managed by the technologies. It frees us from both the polity and money system. There is no platform for the hollow clowns. So the technology provides us what we ask for. We issue a request and provides it. And there's no need for ownership, capital, or the hollow clowns to be involved. The technology is satisfying the request. Okay, and so it's a partnership with technology. And so most of the advantages that the hollow clowns could have drawn from getting our data and our information about individuals has already been significantly reduced. So if you look at our medical and personal records and things that are out there in the world, in the cloud, I mean, the fact that the systems know that, so they know what we would like, what we should buy, vote, eat, need, want, and even some of our secrets, we're okay with that because nobody's there and there's no hollow clowns to take advantage of it. But if it were necessary, the technology could also provide the individuals with additional safeguards and tools, and so they could put a gate that detects and prevents some of the hollow clowns over time as they try to get into and exploit the systems and the information that's out there. So the idea is to develop worthwhile programs. And so using the new tools and techniques, the partnership could easily re-engineer the systems to address human needs using programs with values and policies that are worthy, right, of an intelligent species. So we remove the old paradigm of the three myths with this idea of just programs, and we develop a scorecard for how we want to what our objectives are with our values, and then then basically focus also on the new agenda. As far as global programs go, is addressing the complex global issues. It's just another opportunity for the balanced marriage of humans and technology as we partner with these decision-making artificial tools. So what we're seeing is that there's no reason why, you know, a climate change and endangered species, that we can't do the same thing with those that we were doing with programs that replaced all of our other systems. So it's a partnership story, and as a byproduct of the emasculation of the hollow clowns, there will be time for the partnership to flourish. But it will be the future generation to build the solutions. When you look at one of the things that somebody like AOC said, is that that we shouldn't be haunted by being out of work, right? We should be excited by that. Alice Wu said that don't sweat the problems our generation will have to deal with. And we already have a benefits example in something like GPS systems and the way that they work together. Now, to give you kind of an idea of how what I see underneath the covers, if you will, a little bit, we'll start with the Seldonian AI model, right? And then we use the partnership methodology at every touch point and data point and knowledge point. And so the methodology includes having the right team, the right tools, and the right process. So what we do is we see that the team is the AI engine itself and trained, multidisciplinary, multicultural people. The tools are all of the basic technology tools that are available to us now. And the process is a feedback mechanism process that kind of focuses on a stage gate concept. And the stage gate concept says that at every point in the process, you look to say, am I hitting my values? Am I hitting my policies? Am I doing the things, hitting my scorecard? Am I reducing biases? Am I doing the things that I want to do in order to make this all a success? Thank you.